Hi, I'm Steve Vest, and I'm hosting today's FPB Meet the Candidates. It's a Cable 10 series which allows you, the voter, to hear directly from the candidates on issues that are important to all of us. This is leading up to the general election on November 5th. We took questions from the community via email and social media, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
Today's guest is Leesa Unger. She's a candidate for City Commission, and I'd like to thank you for taking time to schedule an interview with us.
Of course, it's an honor to be here.
Well, great. So we'll start off, if you want to tell us about yourself and why you're running for City Commission.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Yeah. I am from Frankfort, grew up here, and went to Berea College and came back and decided that I wanted to try to make as much change as possible. So this was sort of the route I wanted to take.
Yeah.
This would be my third term.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm lucky enough to sit in the seat again. So I feel like some of the really transformational projects we have started since the first term, which was pretty much a COVID year.
Right.
You know, we went in, we were doing virtual meetings, and since then we have just gotten a lot of balls rolling, and I would like to continue working on those projects and sort of seeing some of them through to fruition. So.
All right. Well, people who don't know you, tell us about your life outside of being a city commissioner.
Yeah. I have a great family. My parents moved here after college. They both ran at UK, and they ended up here. My dad worked for the fire department, and retired from there. I have a husband who's very supportive of this endeavor.
Yeah.
And two really awesome kids, so a kindergartner and a first grader.
Okay.
So we stay busy.
Yeah.
I also work full-time at the Department of Education right up the hill here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people know me as a runner. It's
Yeah.
sort of how I got involved in some of the connectivity and walkability issues with the city and the county, and sort of led me to what I'm doing now.
Okay. Well, great.
Yeah.
So what has your experience on the City Commission taught you, or what benefit will that be to the city going forward?
I think for people that know me, they know that I like to listen. I definitely might be a little bit more reserved. I try to take in all sides of a topic and really formulate, a good opinion on that. And I think I work really well with others. So
Okay.
I found that I can connect with staff, support staff in a way that that really can help facilitate some of these projects we have going on.
Okay. Well, what do you see as the most pressing issue right now for the city commission
Oh my goodness.
or Frankfort?
Yeah, I know that it might depend on who you ask.
Yeah.
So I've got, some constituents that the most important thing for them is to get those parcels developed, help facilitate that project to move forward, to get a conference center, to get a pool, to make sure that they're getting all the services that they want individually and that help the community as a whole. So really it's the gamut. I want to do what I can at this time now to help set up Frankfort for future success.
Okay. Well, how would you work to attract new businesses and jobs while supporting the local businesses we already have?
Let's see. So I feel like the BOC that I've been a part of for the past 4 years, we have done a lot to facilitate business and development in different ways. We've approved 2 different TIF districts, and IRB for a business off of the connector over here. We have also been able to help facilitate and bring together all the partners for the Parsons Farm project out off of 127 and bring Target to Frankfort. So
Yeah.
I feel like right now people can see how supportive we are, and
Right.
that, you come to us with an idea, and I'm more than willing to listen and try to work with you.
Okay. Well, on the opposite end, we have two bridges now that are closed. We've got Taylor Avenue closed. What would you do to help with infrastructure and maintaining the city?
Yeah, that is a bit of an issue right now.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people know that, like I mentioned earlier, I'm supportive of walkability, and there's a big portion of people in the United States and around the world that look for a more walkable community. And so being able to save a bridge, make sure the bridges are usable for pedestrians and cars is really important to me. And hopefully in the future, I don't know if it's going to be possible, but to open Taylor Avenue back up again.
Yeah.
So the city did, obviously these are state-owned bridges.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the issues that we deal with is the fact that, we're the capital city. We have a lot of state-owned properties that we don't get tax revenue off of, a lot of state-owned roads and these bridges. So we are working actually with the state. Back in January, we discussed it, and then we applied for a federal infrastructure grant for the Singing Bridge. So we are hoping that that brings in about $9 million, and then the state said they would kick in the additional $2 million.
Okay.
So fixing the Singing Bridge and bringing up some of that tonnage so that emergency vehicles can go back across it again shouldn't be a financial burden to the taxpayers at all.
Okay.
So that the state wanted to work with us on that, and I think that's one thing you'll see with the current Board of Commissioners and the current mayor.
Right.
We are working really well
Yeah.
with our partners, especially at the state level and at the federal level. And we have a lot of help. Our staff is doing an amazing job, city managers, Rebecca with grants, Seth, who we have hired out of DC for sustainable strategies. I just feel like we have a lot of people in the right spot to keep asking for funding, keep
Right.
working on projects, and sort of keep the ball rolling there. The Singing Bridge, or the Broadway Bridge, it's unfortunate that it sat there for so long. I think people would know that I was a supporter of trying to save something. Now it's not possible. We've gotten to the point where it's an emergency, it's dangerous, the state is taking care of it.
Yeah.
So that's great. So then I think we can probably focus on connectivity in other ways,
Okay.
as well as future riverfront development.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, and how do you keep all those balls going and all that and everything, and balance
That's
the
the hard
budget?
part.
Balance the budget at the same time.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
I think, we're, like I said, we have great staff at City Hall. We have some of the right people in office. The mayor has been just great to work with. And then we've got to look at creative ways with the budget. I know I've pushed for looking on how to sort of close the deficit, even at the golf course. If we can take that deficit from closer to 300K to 200, that's 100,000.
Right.
You can imagine that could go towards bonding for something else.
Right.
And improve our parks in other ways. So,
Sure.
I don't know. I think you have to get creative. We've also spent a lot of time. Sorry, I can just all the words come so fast.
Yeah.
We started a finance committee in my first term, and I've been honored to sit on that. So we talk about some creative ways in trying to set up the city for financial success too.
Right.
Having that rainy day fund policy is very important. And then just having that overall picture and constantly reviewing and discussing that regularly, I think has been a really good thing for us too.
Well, that leads right into the comprehensive plan, if you want to talk about that and the goal of the plan, the priorities of the plan going forward.
Yeah, I think as of right now, the Planning Commission has not approved the plan. So we're sort of sitting in a waiting period. I know that it's really important for the future and for future development to get that future land use map right.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of discussion, and it's a sensitive subject for, groups in the community that want a certain kind of development and then some that don't. So I think what I've tried to focus on is infill development, and then looking at where are those locations where we could do industrial, and I think the comp plan shows that right now as a draft, even though it's not final. But honestly, there could be more acreage there.
Right.
Yep.
Well, infill, so that would be like turning the Sears into the convention center.
Yeah. Taking a property, and what's tough is you're working with private developers and private property owners. We've seen where sometimes incentivized projects that were supposed to go certain places haven't worked out. And so hopefully whatever we can do at the city to make sure those happen and continue, I'm here to do it.
Well, and then how do you balance development with preservation and the rural areas, the agricultural land? Balance that with new industry?
I think you have to, you got to listen to everybody. You have to take in everyone's point of view. And then, like I sort of mentioned, is you've really got to look at the map of Franklin County and the city and say, where is it possible?
Right.
Where is that industrial possible?
Yep.
So I feel like that is what the Planning Commission has done, and the advisory committees. It's just moving forward with that, I think, is going to be very important.
Are there any specific industries that you would like to see come to Frankfort?
I think in terms of infill development, there are companies out there that might only be 10 to 20 employees, but it would be real easy to get them to come in and move into a small building on the east side or on the west side or even downtown, and then we've got those 12 people eating lunch here and getting gas here and maybe living here one day if we can get some houses built, So I'm not the brains in terms of business and bringing in business. That's why we try to put those people in the right spot.
Right.
But I am here to listen and support in any way I can.
Okay. Yep. Well, you mentioned housing. So how do we get more affordable housing and more development?
Well, I can tell you about that.
Okay.
So we have one thing that the new city managers have done is helped us set up all of these committees for the city. So I am sitting on the Affordable Housing Committee right now. We've had a few meetings, and this has sort of, I think, been in the works and in talks for a little while, but we've hired an affordable housing consultant to help us. And so the plan is to basically prepare an RFP before the end of the year, sort of like get a draft going, and get some key properties, hopefully work with other partners like the fiscal court, who we've talked to, and the housing authority, who has a nonprofit board that that we could work with in order to work on some of this affordable housing.
Okay.
So if we can all work together, which I love to work as a team and be supportive, and we don't each have to go our own ways, let's do it together. And we can talk about what properties would be best, which we have a property on Schinkel that we have our sewer project going on. And so we're trying to figure out what that draft looks like, what locations, and I think the Schinkel property is a great one, and how we can maybe phase that out and use tax credits, use that consultant. I think one thing that I'm really proud to say that we've done is we've brought in the experts in each subject.
Okay.
You know, we have brought in this affordable housing consultant. She came in day one and was like, hold on, you're trying to move too fast. We've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So she sort of pumped the brakes, which I'm glad we did. And so we didn't apply this year, which a lot of people might say things move too slow in government, you know. But she's the expert, and she knew we needed to.
Right.
So now we're bringing everybody to the table and trying to figure this out together.
Okay. Well, on the wish list side, everybody wants an indoor pool, apparently.
Yeah,
That's on
me
the-
too.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that, and how does that work in with everything else that you're trying to get done?
Oh my goodness. So I think the mayor said it best. He would like 2 pools.
Okay.
I am supportive of trying to help Kentucky State University get the Exum Center up and running. My only hesitation is I don't think city staff have heard from K-State about what's necessary, what's needed in terms of finances. So once we hear that, I think we can have actual discussions on it. I would want to make sure that our citizens have the access to use it, that the swim teams can use it on their schedule. You know, I understand that we'd be working with K-State on it, but I'm hesitant to allot $1 million, which a commissioner asked recently to do, without having the details.
Right.
Because I think it'd be really important for us to know, you know, can my grandmother go swim in the mornings when she wants to? Can my kids join a swim team and go there instead of Versailles? Yeah, so there's a lot of details to work out.
Okay.
And well, moving on to the second pool.
Yeah, that's
The
fine.
second pool that I would love to have yesterday. I think this is another example of how well the mayor can work with others. The judge and the mayor and the Franklin County School Superintendent have been working and trying to basically ask the state for more property. I feel like we're asking a lot of the state right now, and but we have a good partnership, so it's possible that there's a location to put a future, you know, indoor facility.
So that the second pool will be an indoor pool.
I would hope so.
Okay.
You know, and we've got parks. It doesn't sound like Lakeview's the spot for an indoor facility or a pool at all. You know, we could always look at East Frankfort Park if we need to. And, you know, we are here soon needing to discuss some funding that the city could bond for both our parks and for riverfront development.
Okay.
So it's possible, you know, we could work with partners, work with the county, work with school systems, and try to get a really great facility.
Okay. Well, then what about convention center?
Yeah,
A new convention center. So we
That
bring in
is-
the Rolling Stones and everything else.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it. Yeah, I would love to be able to see one of my favorite bands here instead of going out of state or in Lexington or Louisville. Yeah, so I think we got really lucky this session. You know, that allotment of funding for the conference center, I hope it's just the first round.
Okay.
Maybe there's a second ask in there. Right? And so, yeah, I think staff right now is working on the draft. We're hoping to have that before the end of the year,
Okay.
get an RFP out for that. I think we wanted to make sure we were going to be good stewards of the state's funds that they're giving us. So we're working with DLG and also looking at some of the downtown master plans, what numbers were included for a conference center, you know, how many meeting rooms are needed, that sort of thing. We wanted to make sure we just had everything ready to go.
Right.
So hopefully in the next couple of months we can get an RFP out on the street.
Okay. So how do you balance these projects with the other pressing infrastructure things that we talked about, the sewers, the bridges, the roads, the everything else?
I think you have to remain positive And honestly, I feel like I've sort of been a yes person. Like I am excited about any idea you come to me with. Let's talk about it. We are going to work through it. We are going to make it happen. We will get the funding for a conference center.
Right.
I just feel like you have to be optimistic. You have to be able to work well with others. You have to be creative in funding and figure out ways to bring it all together,
Sure.
while also being, financially and fiscally aware and responsible. It can be very overwhelming,
Right.
because I could go on and on and on about all the really great things going on.
But what excites you most?
What excites me, just the trajectory that we're on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels like COVID slowed down the whole world.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Frankfort was on fire. Like, it feels like things are great.
Yeah.
They're great. You may not always see that on social media or hear that, but I think things are going really well.
Oh,
and
good.
I'm excited about the future.
Okay. Could you talk about enhancing tourism and promoting Frankfort's historical significance?
Yes, tourism is very important, and so is the history of our city. I feel like I personally have a great relationship with Robin Antonucci,
Mm-hmm.
and anything she needs or any ideas she has, I'm fully supportive. So I make sure to communicate well. I know our board does a good job at that, and city staff does a great job too. We did hire Vicki Byronberg.
Mm-hmm.
She now works with the city under the planning department, and she is sort of our expert. Like I said, I feel like we've done a great job supporting and bringing in some experts in certain fields. So like we just announced it today, the historic grant, $750,000 that we're going to get, and that's a pretty big deal. So then we'll have to decide, how do we want to set up a historic grant award program? Do we want to go back to what we did before? Can we make some changes, some tweaks? So we've sort of got Vicki there on the sidelines. She's going to help us out with that. So
Great.
Yeah.
So could you talk about your strategies you have for promoting diversity, equity, inclusion of city government in the broader community?
Yeah, I think our current BOC that I've been a part of, we've done a really good job focusing on some of those ideas. One of my goals was to pass paid parental leave and pass the Crown Act. I wanted to pass a couple policy things that couldn't get passed federally or at the state level, and we've passed both. So the Crown Act was a big deal. We've also done a great job, and with the help of Vicki and Dr. Ellie at the Capital City Museum, highlighting some of the African American history in town,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of bringing that to light, doing some projects with that. Really, I'm not an expert in the field, but we'll make sure we can do what we can with the people we have, and if anyone in the community has an idea or thinks we need to do something better or different, we need to support the community and be more equitable, I'd love to hear it, because I am more than willing.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, can you talk about downtown revitalization efforts?
Yeah, let's see. So I did mention the grant that was just announced
Yep.
today. I think Paul Runyon, that might be the name of the grant. That could be another way, like we've done in the past, where we give some facade grants or historic grants to business owners, like the building that the House of Commons is in now, with the Airbnb on top. They received a historic revitalization grant. I don't know what year that was, 19 or 18, maybe.
Okay.
And then the Engine House building.
Yep.
That was another one that received some grant funding. So it's nice to see what that impact made,
Right.
right?
Yep.
because now it's two successful businesses. And so, yeah, whatever we can do to take this new grant that we just received and see those sort of pockets of investment and help them, ready to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So it's your turn. You get to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You get to look straight into the camera, and you can sing or tell some jokes or.
Oh, I was a ballet dancer. I could
Oh, okay.
give you a couple moves. No,
Well, we
I'm
have
joking.
to move some tables.
I'm joking.
But you know,
Yeah.
ask the people for your vote and tell them things that I didn't ask you.
I am still so honored to be sitting here. It really means a lot to be able to represent the citizens of Frankfort. So I would love to have your vote in November. I think the continuity to keep me there, it would be a really great thing and important to keep some of these projects that are currently happening just moving forward. I also consider myself, like I said earlier, a good listener, compassionate person. I love to work with others, and I think I work well with others. So let's just keep that moving forward. I would love to be sitting in the same seat I am and representing you. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Leesa Unger, I'd like to thank you for coming by today. I know our viewers appreciate hearing from you. And to our viewers, I'd like to remind you to get out and vote on Tuesday, November 5th. And then tune in to Cable 10, where you'll be able to see the results. And have a great day.